Bill, everybody's had a Monroe story today, and I've got one. I meant to tell you a while ago. Mac Wiseman touched on that Mole Lake, Wisconsin festival they used to have.
Yeah.
Well, if you didn't have a gun when you got there, they gave you one.
That's right.
But I was up there, and I went down in the basement, and that stage must have been 20 feet high. And they had a fence up in front of it. They had a gate, and on our side, on the entertainer side, it was if you wanted to go out into the crowd, enter at your own risk. That's a true story. And it was on a reservation. But anyway, I went down and Monroe was there, and I hadn't seen him in a while. And I said, "How you been doing, Mr. Bill?" "I just got back from Israel." Said, "I got baptized in the River of Jordan." And I said, "Well, that's wonderful. I'm glad to hear that." He said, "I went over with Reverend Jimmy Snow, I believe it was." And I said, "Well, that's wonderful news, Bill." I said, "Well, how did you like it over there?" He said, "It's like a different country over there."
Who was it yesterday that was telling the story about Mr. Monroe and the donuts?
Oh.
Tell that, Ricky.
Well, they were up in New York City doing a real early television, like a news show like a Today Show or ABC Morning News or some kind of thing. So they were there like at 5:30, rehearsing and all, getting ready. And Billy Joe Foster, this kid played fiddle with Bill. He's a kid from Oklahoma. He used to play in my band, and so he was telling me this, and he said, Mr. Bill went in there where some coffee was, and a little food and fruit and stuff like that was set up, and he come around there, and he said, "Billy Joe," he said, "boy, you need to stay away from them donuts. Them's the toughest things, and they ain't a bit sweet." And he'd got a hold of a bagel. That's the toughest thing right there. Since we're telling Monroe stories, you got to tell us the one you told me yesterday about this guy that brought Bill a mandolin.
Well, Ronnie Reno told me this.
Blame it on Ronnie.
Blame.
He said before he knew it was about a true story, and knowing Bill as I shared and not only me but other people, I shared the last 15 years he lived in dressing room number 2 down there with him, and I saw some of the funniest stories and the things that happened that you could imagine it happened there. I didn't think they was funny at the time, but you didn't. I don't know. You get off and get the thing, but I said, "Boy, that was fun." And you just laugh your rear end off at it, So, but Ronnie told me this story here, and it's typical. It's typical of Bill Monroe. He thinks like this right here, but this old boy walked up to him with a mandolin, and he banged it right in front of Bill, and everything. And he said, "I'd like to know, tell me how my mandolin playing is, good, bad, or whatever." Bill said, "Let me have the mandolin." So Bill gets the mandolin, he goes all over and playing it, he reaches it back to him, he says, "Well, it ain't the mandolin."
That is so priceless right there, son.